What is going on, guys? ASol the Star Dragon here with another good gameplay. So again, I don't know what's going on with my recording software. Every once in a while I just won't record a game. I was a little upset that this one didn't get recorded the way that it was with like all the talking and everything, so I had to go ahead and do that. But I just figured that I would talk over this a little bit, otherwise gameplay is going to be really boring. Aurelion Sol is not the most exciting champion for the first few minutes of the game, for sure. He definitely takes a little bit of getting used to in terms of playing and watching. A lot of people don't realize like all the little technical and mechanical things that go into playing Aurelion Sol. It's a lot harder than a lot of people give credit for. Actually, I'm actually quite surprised at the amount of people who don't realize how difficult he is. One of the reasons I started playing Aurelion Sol in the first place is because I kept seeing videos of quantum physics doing these amazing Aurelion Sol gameplays, and I was really interested because whenever you look up Aurelion Sol videos, there's not many videos to really pick from. There's maybe 6 or 7 pro players like overall that even play Aurelion Sol on a regular basis. He's not the most overpowered champion in the world. There's definitely better picks to be had, but he definitely has a decent kit. It just needs a little bit of a buff, and I mean, pro players play him fine. The difficulty is like the lower elo to mid elo players don't really seem to do the best with them. I just really want to play something different that not many people play. That's how I am with most of the champions I play. I really wanted to get into Graves recently too. I also play Talia, Quinn. What else do I play? Anivia. Champs that like lower elo players don't usually play, and everyone's like, oh, why do you play a champion, or like don't play a champion. And actually I'd say it's solid like 20% of the time, and actually this exactly is why. This is why. That was really bad play. I'd say like 20% of the time someone might actually just ban my champion and tell me that I shouldn't be playing them, which is not cool, but it happens. That's why I have multiple champions that I shouldn't be playing. Anivia is really cool though. I really love Anivia's kit too. The wall, Talia too, like putting up those walls and changing the entire game sometimes doesn't look as good on the scoreboard because unless you hit someone with it, it's not going to show up as like an assist or anything, but you and your team know like, hey, that wall that got put up was really good and really changed his play, etc. But yeah, it's really nice to have champions that change the entire game. Like Aurelion Sol, again, is one of those champions where like as long as you keep ganking, you keep counter jungling or ganking top and bot, your team's gonna notice. I mean, unless they're like brain dead, they're gonna notice that even if your score doesn't look amazing, you definitely did a lot for the team, like just applying pressure and scaring people out of lane and all that good stuff. And also getting vision is a big thing too with Aurelion Sol, because while you're flying, a lot of people don't realize you can use your sweeper, you can use regular wards, and you can throw them over walls while you're flying, which is really cool. Same thing with Talia too. What a lot of people don't do is that you can do is while you're in your R, you can place a ward really quickly, which is really nice, and you don't get knocked off of it. Same thing with Aurelion Sol's flight. If you're in your E, you don't get knocked out of your E if you try to put that ward. Keep having to do like a lot of early backing against Azir. He's a pretty hard counter for Aurelion Sol, but I'm an M7 Aurelion Sol, and this Azir was I think he had like 25,000 or 30,000 mastery points on him, something like that. So he knew what he was doing, but he wasn't great at it. So that's why I was doing better in this matchup than I really should have been. You're gonna see. What I'm gonna do is try to avoid being in lane as much as I can. What I want to do is I want to hard push the lane. Azir can hard push too, but I just want to hard push the lane and try to get the opportunity to open up a little bit of an opportunity for a snowball in one of the other lanes, because late game Azir makes it really difficult for me to do things. With his slows, with his soldiers and stuff, it's like impossible to do anything once if you're playing against a good Azir. And again, I really respect the Azir pick. I respect certain champions that people play. I respect, Ezreal's and Cassidon's and LeBlanc and obviously Aurelion Sol, Anivia, Talia, all those champions. I love when people play those champions. I really support it. more people should play champions, that not everyone's just picking like just because they're super simple point clicks You know, obviously champions like Lux and Yasuo and stuff, like, yeah, I get when people say, you know, oh, well, at a higher level it's more difficult to play them. Yeah, that makes sense, but I mean, you can't justify certain champions like Garen and who's another one? So you're gonna see here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish some sort of like dominance over Azir. I'm trying to pressure him so he feels like he shouldn't be pushing. Because what I don't want him to do is push. I don't want him to feel comfortable pushing, because I want to be able to push him in and try to roam somewhere else, which again is really difficult in the early game. He doesn't use just as much mana as I do, not many champions do, even though he does have some high mana cost abilities as well. But Aurelion Sol can definitely melt through his mana really quickly. And this was a norms match, this wasn't a ranked match, so I wasn't, you know, trying my ass off or anything. That comes later. But when you do play Aurelion Sol, you definitely want to focus on CSing. He is a very item-oriented champ. You absolutely have to get ahead as this champion, or else later you're not going to be able to do much. I would say even if you're really good at Aurelion Sol, I've only done this a few times, but I've seen players playing Aurelion Sol who do play Kleptomancy Aurelion Sol. It's extremely difficult, honestly. Phase Rush is almost a must for Aurelion Sol. I've also seen people use Dark Harvest, which is okay on him. It's not the greatest. Now I'm going to do is come up here because Garen's pushed too far. I'm going to try and save Maokai here. He kind of scared him. Which messed it up, and I also missed my R because he flashed. I was actually really surprised that he did. I think he just flashed, you know, just because he was scared. I don't think that was to avoid my R. But if it was to avoid my R, hey man, I mean, if you genuinely were trying to avoid my R like that, that was a really great flash. And you can see down bot, they keep pushing in, so it's going to be a little difficult for me to go down bot. They just keep pushing. We were all in a Discord together, and I kept telling them to stop pushing, but, you know, sometimes your friends are a little deaf to your voice. Honestly, that's why sometimes it's better to play with like a group of randoms, because sometimes your friends think you're kidding, or they get too comfortable with you and don't take you as serious as they probably should. And I really love this Mecha Aurelion Sol chroma. The ones that I use probably the most are the white one and the purple one. The white one looks clean, it actually reminds me of like a Gundam. And then the purple one I really love because it looks like a battle boss skin almost. Because they should make a battle boss skin for Aurelion Sol, that would be really nice. Or even a cosmic something, or what's the other one? Dark Star Aurelion Sol, one of those would be really nice too, I'm sure. It would be nice too, I'm sure they'll do it eventually because League of Legends is kind of corny. They make like a Aurelion Sol that looks like an actual dragon. That, by the way, was a really intense fight when it was happening. I was like, no way this dude's getting away from me. That scared the crap out of me. And I thought he was actually going to kill me. He worried me for a second. I really respect this Azir player. Again, he wasn't like the most amazing player, but he was pretty damn good for someone with only like, I think it was like 30,000 mastery points or something. I have like 92,000 at the time of this video on Aurelion Sol. And it helps a lot to play champions that most people don't understand like Aurelion Sol, because they won't really know how to play against you. This Garen was really pissing me off. If you look at his build, he doesn't have any magic resist yet and takes literally no damage from me, so that's cool and enjoyable. I also really love the skin's back. He turns into a ship. That's awesome. They should tweak a few champions. Aurelion Sol would be great, but he's too new, so I'm sure that they definitely won't do this anytime soon. But they should tweak a few champions to do what the new Kale does, where as the levels progress or as your ability points progress, your champion changes and your abilities change. That would be really, that's a really thoughtful, really cool mechanic that they put into the new Kale. I really love that. I'll get a Kale gameplay going sometime soon, actually, too, because I really do love Kale. I had a few good games with her before I had got this new computer to record with. I think I'm only Mastery 5 on Kale right now. Bot's doing good. Top mid jungler go all 1-in-1s. Their enemy jungler though, that Rammus, is a joke at the moment. I was really upset at that one. But the minions killed him, so I was happy. But I was so upset when Rammus came right there. I was so mad. So as you can see here, once you hit like levels, I'd say 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there, you're going to be able to burst waves really quickly in Roam. That's when you really start to become a problem for the game. And I'm going to come up and try to gank this Garen again, just because he's given our Maokai a really hard time up here. We really want to try and get this Maokai fed because his CC is going to be really important for the late game. What we're going to want to do late game is try to get a lot of chain CC going because they have a lot of movement on their team. And here, I don't pop that too early. I don't pop it too early, you'll notice, because I know he's going to jump to a soldier. Then here, me and Maokai kind of corner him here. He doesn't really know where to go. That ult should have threw him a little further. I guess he hit the wall somehow. Logic. And thank God that Lux ult doesn't kill me. Taric gives me a shield. Felt nice. Taric got the kill on the Azir though. So here I'm 2-2, Merc Treads, a Tear, Corrupting Potion, and a Tome. 4-2-1, 93 CS. Okay, well, yeah, they were matched with... Actually, he was matched with the other ADC. Inting Lux support. So, okay, so for all you Lux support people out there, here's what I have to say about that. I don't like Lux support. And I'll tell you why, but first I'll tell you why I do like it. I do like the good Lux supports that land all of their abilities and that they're able to slow other champions with their E. And what's good for team fights is when you can group the ADC or the squishy mid laner, the first mage. And then here, oh man, I was livid. My team gave him kills because he didn't have kills before that. They gave him a double kill when I told them to back off. No joke. In my microphone 9 times. I told him to back off, but it happens. What was I just saying? So I do like that Lux players, when they play smart with the E and with the Q, and not like what that Lux just did right there and what she's been doing all game 0-3. You throw the E where the ADC is running away, and you don't pop it until they're about to come out of it. That way you've had like a second to slow them, that gives you time to catch up, and then you do damage afterwards. And then immediately after popping that, you have to land your Q. So it's kind of like a chain CC, and for like pretty much they're not even mobile for a solid, 3 or 4 seconds, whatever the hell. It's a long time to not be mobile. But Luxes usually just like throw everything out and then back off, and they have nothing else to do. And that's when the enemy ADC, and here's the issue, that's when the enemy ADC and support know to go in, because they know that you have nothing. And as an ADC, most of these ADCs, Varus actually is a perfect example of being in this video. Varus has no real escape aside from R. So if he is, level 4 or 5 and you're doing this, or, later in the game and he just used his R, and you wasted your Q and your E, they already know that you have no way of CCing and no way of escaping. Whereas there's better picks in the bot lane for CC. There's better picks like Nautilus with his crazy chain CC and tankiness. And again, tankiness is a big thing too, because if you have a lane down bot like a Brand Vayne, right, and he stuns you, nails you to the wall, yada yada, kills you, he's going to do it much quicker than if you play Nautilus Aftershock. You can knock him up and you can stun him and whatever. But it's just not. There's just better picks than Lux is pretty much the point. But a lot of people are really stuck on their Lux support. I get it. She does a lot of damage, this and that. She also seems like most of the time people accidentally steal CS or steal kills with Lux, mainly because of the, obviously how the ult works and all that. I definitely get it. I used to do it a lot, but that's why I stopped playing Lux support. I actually like Anivia support a lot. I don't think enough people play that. Maybe I'll do a video on that too. I know I have quite a few good games as Anivia support that I've done. It's really good, especially if you have a Vayne ADC, because if you have a Vayne ADC and you put up a wall, she can actually isolate them to the wall. A lot of people don't realize it. The same thing with Valley too. She can actually, when you play Vayne, you can actually hit them to the wall, or even if you have Ornn. One of the cheese lanes that me and one of my good friends did was Ornn and Nivea bot lane, and he kept using my wall to use the knockup, which is really cool. And then here we got like a nice little pick on Azir. Azir, I think at one point gets a little cocky. I think it was right around here. He gets a little cocky with his damage and starts, getting away from his team a little too much. As Aurelion Sol, you never want to be away from your team. Aurelion Sol is heavily team-oriented. He's all about snowballing your team and all about setting up plays for the team. He's a playmaking champion. He's not some crazy 1v5 burst mage. He's not Kassadin or LeBlanc. I was really hoping Rammus would stay so I could kill him right here. That would have been an easy kill. But here what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for this Lux. Actually, I want to see what happened over here because I didn't watch this yet. What went wrong here? Okay, all that went wrong here is I went in too far. That's what went wrong here. Every once in a while, when you have a really good game, you still want to go back and you want to rewatch it and see what you did wrong wherever you may have died, just so you could obviously learn from your mistakes. So I'm going to bring this Q right down lane. This is mainly for wave clear. I'm not going down here to get a kill, but Ezreal does happen to be right here, so I start kind of going for him. Change my mind once I see that E. What you want to do as Aurelion Sol to kill an Ezreal is make him blow his E with your W and hold your Q. And then after he's already used his E, you're going to Q him as soon as you can. And then try to walk in front of him if your team's behind you, or walk whatever. Try to get in position to your opposite of wherever the rest of your team is, if you have your team around you. What you're going to want to do is either force him to fight you or force him into your team. And here again, we get a nice little pick here. He just starts roaming, and I think what he was trying to do here is trying to get like the skull or something. I wasn't really paying attention, but just making unnecessary moves. And again, that's another thing. Every once in a while, there's going to be times in the game where everything's pushed and there's no objectives and there's no nothing. The best thing to do is either sit back or go in as a 5-man. I don't understand when people overextend alone and wind up getting caught out like that. Or they overextend with 2 and then next thing you know, 5 are sitting in a bush just like that. Here we go, Rammus is coming in. I missed my Q because I didn't know what was there. Rammus started to get a little too tanky even for me, even though all he has is a nullify cape and the nullifying mantle and the boost. I flash here to avoid his ear. Then I can bar Rammus to slow him down. And I was gonna go for his ear here, but I didn't want to just keep wasting time here. There's no reason to chase him. He already died twice in a row, I think, at this point, so he's not worth really much gold. I got red and blue from Rammus. I'm gonna try and just, since Azir's probably gonna be recalling here, I figured I'd just hard push here. Wait for a little bit. Go top, help him. Azir wound up coming back to lane, but I didn't want to cancel my E. I just want to make sure that we could kill this Garen up here, which you'll see. It doesn't work out because he moves 10,000 miles an hour, does a ton of damage. Can't really be CC'd. Is super tanky. Is only 1-0. He has 172 CS, which is okay. Right now we're 24 minutes into the game. We got our team coming top. I was telling them to come because Lux is coming. I was going to fly through this wall, try to kill the Lux here. Which, as you can see, I mess up my Q, but then R. Tarek takes the kill on that one. And then I get slowed by that Luxie. See, she did that on accident because she died. But you can see how well that E really slows. It's a really nice slow. A lot of people don't take advantage of it, but just immediately slow the E. Tarek barely gets away. Rammus is going to get a little reckless here, try to 1v4. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. I'm sure he probably pinged for his team to come in and they weren't listening or whatever, but then here I'm just getting a lot of DPS. Again, way too cocky, like I said. I'm going to back off for a second. Try to let some of these minions move out of my way. We're just going to head mid for some of this wave clear. Varus told me he was going to recall, and Maokai was going to tuck TP in. And then I was just probably, I think I go top here, right? Yep. Go back top here. Trying to catch out this Ezreal. We know we're very likely not going to kill this Garen. Just trying to make sure there's no Rammus here. That will work. Garen was a little too fast for me. I couldn't get my stars to hit him, and I also missed my ult. Thank God for the Tarek dive. And then I'm gonna just stay because Tarek's tanking tower for us, and I got Garen too. Now, just like that, I'm 12-4, and this is about the same time I actually realized what my score was. Got 170 CS, 12-4 and 6, Rylai's, Saris Embrace, Merc Treads, and Corrupting Potion. So as far as item choice goes, Aurelion Sol's item choice does change every single game, as does most champions. So here's another mistake I see a lot of people make is and you can listen to the pros on this too, you do not want to build the same exact build every single time on the same champion. It is not going to work for every situation. It's just not, flat out. Because you buy certain items for specific champions you're playing against. Oh, by the way, here I just get really reckless and just say, again, this is a norm, so I wouldn't normally do that. But I was just like, you know what, screw it. I already got her low health. I'm going in for this. I don't care. I told him not even to follow me. That's fine. Then over here, the hero's chasing Tarek. Tarek's just too OP, man. Look at him go. Man, that champion, man. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, as I was saying, so item choice here. This is how I figured it in my head. Saris Embrace, I'm definitely going to have some sustained fights here because Garen and Rammus are very tanky. And I'm going to have to be flying around a lot around this Azir. And with their CC, the silence, the taunt, just the CC from Azir soldiers, I definitely wanted Merc Treads. Going to reduce stuns, slows, taunts, fears, silences, etc. by 30%. You always, as Aurelion Sol, And again, this goes along with like building for each game. As Aurelion Sol, you always want to be the same speed, if not a tad bit faster than the champions around you. Otherwise, you're pretty useless. If you can't control your positioning in coordination with your enemy's positioning, you're not going to be able to hit anything, and you're going to be really useless. Because as you saw earlier when I was trying to hit that Garen, there was just nothing I could do because Garen was outrunning me. So with his Q, so there's no way that I could possibly hit him with my stars unless he literally ran into them or he got creep locked. The Rylai's Crystal Scepter, obviously to slow Rammus, Azir, Ezreal. That's a really big bop. Rammus, Azir, Ezreal, Garen, because they're all just ridiculously fast. And obviously, in case you don't know, Aurelion Sol's W, actually no, his passive too, does slow people down with Rylai's Crystal Scepter. You can see here, I mean at this point here, it's just ridiculously tanky. There we go. Oh man. I actually didn't get to watch this. I wasn't looking when this happened. I had 100% confidence in my Shaco. But, okay, and then, again, with the sustained fights with the tanky champions, you definitely want to Leandries to increase your damage over time. And then, after I had all that, I figured why not start for Rabadon, because I just need more AP just in general. And as you can see, I mean, even with the items I had, and the Void Staff too for the tankiness, but even with the items I had, I still wasn't doing a crazy amount of damage. Luckily, I had Gathering Storm on, so the more that this game goes on, the more AP I'm going to get. Towards the end of the game, I actually get 120 AP from Gathering Storm because the game goes on so long. You usually want to try and end Aurelion Sol games early too, because unless you're really ahead, like I started to get in this game, there's not much that you can do. And again, especially if you're behind, but you want to try and end the game pretty quickly. By the way, Riot, fix that glitch. Please fix that glitch. It's really dumb. You want to try and end the game quickly, because if you don't, your stars are going to do no damage, and the only thing that's going to matter is CCing champions. In that situation, the best thing to do is to stop building for damage and start building for utility. You're gonna want like a GLP, the one that I forget what the hell it's called. The one that shoots like the ice or whatever. For the slows, you're gonna want Twin Shadows. You're gonna want like a Spellbinder, items like that. And I'll show you again in a different video maybe where I'm going with more of an assist Aurelion Sol. This Aurelion Sol is more of a damage build because it starts getting ahead. And you're usually going to want to make that decision within your first two... actually, no, I wouldn't even go by Tails or Best. I would go by turn. If you're not ahead, I'd say in the first 12 minutes or so. If you're not already ahead at that point, then you should start building for an assist Aurelion Sol. I'll do a separate video going over exactly how to play like an assist roam Aurelion Sol. Kind of like having another support. Your goal is pretty much to get the most cooldown and the most utility out of your kit that you can. And here they're going to go ahead and do Baron since the enemy team spent so much time chasing that Taric, and also we got their jungler and Ezreal down. And they do Baron really quickly. That's fast, yeah. Now at this point, Azir's starting to catch up in CS. He's got 213 CS, I got 211. I'm 18-6, he's 10-7. So, I mean, as far as a 1v1 would go, I could still beat him. It'd be a bit of a fight. And now here's my full build that I keep through the game. We've got, again, slows, the increasing damage, the mana we definitely need, the anti-slows, the Rabadon slows. Pop. Never get tired of that. At this point, I already put in the chat, GG, game over, and we're just gonna push the end right here. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about this part. Look at how tanky Garen is. Riot, if this video can teach you anything, it's that 5 champions versus Garen with only 2 items have a really hard time killing him. Please nerf his healing. Please nerf his magic resist. Well, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, comment, and stay tuned for more Aurelion Sol content. Thank you.